What are you doing down here with these cars, sir?
I don't know. I'm just watching.
What do you mean you're watching?
I'm observing.
Come on now. You can tell if your bars are off or something, you know? I mean...
Kenny's got him pulling some left rear wheels off and taking the tires off, and he's checking them out a little bit.
Are they direct port?
Direct port.
Yeah. What's up with that?
USB port? What do you say?
No, not USB port. Direct. The fuel injection part. You checking methanol?
There is no methanol.
Oh,
there is no fuel injection.
Oh, okay.
Come on
that's
now.
where I recognize you from. Now I'm just playing. So what's the life been like on the Outlaw Tour since you made the whole change to the fendered world?
It's been fun. I mean, I did one thing for so long with the open wheel stuff, and it's cool to come over here and learn about these cars, and they're very complex. There's a lot more to this stuff than there is the sprint car stuff. So it's been cool to come over and kind of learn about that stuff and watch these guys race. They do a hell of a job.
Now, what's your official title?
Series director.
So what has series director been for you on this whole late model situation?
Like what I do?
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest part is like the scheduling and the planning. You know, like a lot of the after track stuff. I'm just trying to help, and I help Kenny on tech stuff or in the lineup shoot. I just try and kind of help and fill in wherever we need help at. But most of my job is doing the scheduling and the planning and getting the drivers signed up and getting the platinum agreements done and a lot of the boring stuff.
So what's it like for you as it's a weird deal because World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, they're their sole deal. You know, they got a little challenge from All Stars, but they're still regional mainly. Yep. Late model world though, there's basically two World of Outlaw Sprint Car series. You got Lucas Oil, you got World of Outlaw Late Model. That just is the case. How is that world where there's two national series that are basically looked at as the same?
I mean, it's a challenge. You always, we're always trying to get better and bigger and try and get to the top. I mean, we got two of them fighting over being the top dog, and we're doing everything we can to try and give the fans the best experience, give the racers the best place to race, and pay them really good money. And I mean, that's something we did over the winter is jack the purses up quite a bit and added a ton to the purses, and it was kind of cool. Everyone followed along, so now these guys are getting to race for way more money all year long wherever we're at. So that was a good thing for the sport and for the racers for sure.
And that's something you're handling, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, between myself and Brian Carter, I mean, he was the one that came up with the idea of, hey, we need to raise it, considerably. And I sent him something, and he says, no, let's go more. So he had a lot to do with it. He was a big player in making that happen. So
now, do you think that's good for late model racing? You see sprint car racing, they're really not challenged, so they just do what they want to do, whereas in late model racing there's that competitive element where you're having to do more than another guy.
Yeah, we can't get relaxed. I mean, we always have to keep trying to do better, and we can't ever just hang out and wait. I mean, we got to be progressive about what we're doing.
Is that hard? Hold on, we'll let them go by. Damn blue. What's up with yellow and blue being everywhere? What the hell?
I like it. It stands out. You can see it.
It's Democrat though. it's Democrat. Is that why that's red? Trying to even the playing field?
It could be.
Red, white, and blue.
You're digging. You're going deep now.
So, but that competitive element, it's got to be hard sometimes too when you want certain drivers at your show, and there's certain drivers that y'all would probably, like a Tim McCready who won tonight. He's a Lucas guy. You'll get him. You'll get them most of the year, because luckily it seems like the Lucas Oil and World Outlaw schedules don't really overlap too many times. It seems like there's a mutual respect in scheduling. Yeah, there
is. I mean, that's
and if it is the same date, it's like across the country.
Yeah, like we try and stay off of each other's bigger events, and the big kind of crown jewel type stuff we try and stay away from. And like you said, if we do run the same weekends, we try and make sure it's not in the same area of the country. I mean, getting into a fight like that is not really going to be any good for anybody. So we try and do what's right and schedule apart as much as we can. But I mean, there's only so many weekends you have, so there's going to be times where we have to do it, and I think we both understand that. So
now, is there any kind of interaction with the drivers that you've noticed that's a little bit different than the sprint car world? The late model people, they call them prima donnas. You've heard it all.
Yeah.
I'm sure the push starters, the caution makers, or I heard people say they hate lining up behind a sprint car race because they may be there for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So And it seems like it's a little bit more healthier as far as cars go in the late model world. You can have 70 cars, if you go to the right spot.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of late models in this country. I mean, if you look any weekend, there's 5,000 and 10,000 win shows down south all the time that have 40 or 50 cars, and I mean, there's a lot of late models in the country, but I mean, they're all racers. Midget sprint cars.
They're just taller.
Models.
They're
a little
taller.
Bigger, a little older.
A little older, a little taller.
When I first started, I said, this is a lot of like grown men racing for a living. They're not messing around. But
did you have to get a step stool to talk to them?
Yeah, sometimes.
No, God, that's so mean.
But I mean, they're all racers. They're all trying their hardest, and they get pretty emotional, and sometimes they get a little irrational when they get emotional. But for the most part, they're all racers, and they're trying to do the best they can. So you can't get too mad about it. I get it. I understand sometimes. You just get a little revved up, and
well, the fans do too. Talk about that fan base that they got. I mean, I reference late model racing when I bring up the Larson topic, and I say that, and I don't even say him. I say they don't have the co-trickle effect. They don't need. You look at sprint car racing. Our superstars were Wolfgang Kinzer. Our guys, Rich Voglers, and then all of a sudden, co-trickle rode in and went to NASCAR, and Jeff Gordon followed suit. So did Tony Stewart. All of our giant superstars of sprint car racing have been co-trickles for 30 years, whereas late model racing, they never had a or Jeff. They never had that. So their stars are in the pits every single week. That's who the fan base is also of the late model world. They idolize those guys. So it seems like you could pull a Larson-esque crowd because in a big-time late model race, because those are their Kyle Larsons. These guys who run late models, that's their big-time superstar in this division.
Oh, there's no doubt that there's a huge following of late models, and I mean, it's stuff that I never noticed or paid attention to, because I was always, on the other side of the wall. I was always the sprint cars and midgets and stuff like that. So huge following. I mean, and you're right. I mean, there's a lot of idol type guys. I mean, there's a lot of big names, and they've been around for a long time, and I don't know. It seems like maybe this sport in general, there's not guys here looking to go to the next level. Like, this is their next level, and
right. And the drivers treat it that way. The fans do too. Tyler Reddick's t-shirt color could be beside Scott Bloomquist. It ain't going to make a damn difference. Whereas if you put Larson's next to Schatz, I mean, it's pretty damn sad.
These guys, they got a lot of money invested, but they can race for a lot of money and make a good living. So, I don't think a lot of guys here have dreams of going to Daytona or Indy or anything like that. They're happy doing what they're doing and making a good living racing race cars on every Saturday night.
Speaking of the stars, I think also another thing, you said a little older, but you can become a young superstar real quick in this too. If you're Bobby Pierce, you come up, you beat Scott Bloomquist or Davenport. I mean, look at Brandon Shepard. He rose to fame relatively quickly just by winning some late model races against some of the best. Yep. Brandon Overton, another great example. And another example, you may not want this one to come out. I just got to ask. The Tyler Erb situation. Obviously, he's getting a lot of push behind him right now.
He is. He's got
it's good.
He's got a
possibly.
Lot of emotional
it's good. It's good promotional wise, possibly for the lead to the turbo return. You're gonna steal that from me. The turbo return. I already know you're going to now. It's beautiful, but you do have a little bit, of that turbo situation. I think you were kind of alluding to that when they get mad. This is their livelihood. They get a little emotional, and there's some politic drama I've heard in the pitting areas too between the teams and people.
Yeah.
So
I that's I raced for so long. I get it. I mean, this you put a lot of time and effort into this stuff, and it's an emotional sport. And when something happens, you get fired up, and I understand that. And Tyler and I have talked about it. We talked about it then. We've talked about it numerous times since. And I mean, it is what it is, and it's over with.
Well, he also said that wasn't the first time. That thing that happened at Cedar Lake was something that was building up, how he felt like he was getting a little pushed around by the particular driver at question.
Right, and I don't...
And he was saying other people feel the same, so...
And I don't know what those situations were. I mean, if it was somewhere at one of our races, I never noticed or nobody ever brought it up, so I don't know when or how long that goes back. But I mean,
well, we know racers, they can have grudges for generations. I mean, IMCA and USAC's been a grudge for 100 years.
I've been there. I've waited 4 or 5 or 6 years to get someone back that I know I thought dirtied me up, and so I understand.
Now hold on. If a guy dirties you one time, here's what I'm saying, this build-up that he referenced. If a guy dirties you one time, and then let's say next week in a heat race he just barely cut your nose off. Is that like barely cut your nose off twice as big of a deal to you because he dirtied you the week before?
Absolutely, yeah.
So it could be something that built up like that. One big deal and then a bunch of little things and then that.
It may not have not looked like anything to you or to the fans.
Or even to you. Like you said, you may not even seen it.
But yeah, it was, but you keep track. Every driver keeps track. Everyone knows where they're at with everybody. And so like I said, I'm not mad at Tyler. I'm not real happy with how that situation was handled, really. But I mean, it is what it is, and we're moving on. And he's definitely got a lot of loyal fans. I mean, he's selling a lot of shirts, but he's winning some races too. So that's good. I mean, that's a little controversy is good for the sport.
Controversy. You got this probably the most controversial race in, I guess, since it last happened. Bristol. Y'all have a race there.
Yep.
Bristol Dirt Nationals has a race there. Barry Braun putting it on. We were talking before we went green here on the camera.
Yep.
You actually went to that facility and went over some of the things that have to happen. What are some of those things?
Well, I mean, obviously they number one, they're putting dirt down and trying to figure out how we need to do that. And I mean, some of the simplest things of just getting in and out of the racetrack, with haulers and stuff, is something that needs to be looked at. And
well, they're going to park them outside for the Bristol Dirt deal, correct?
I think they are. The first one, I think they are, yeah. And we're looking at trying to get haulers in the infield, and I mean, that's a whole challenge. And I mean, the facility it's a racetrack, but it's never had anything. I mean, not in a long time, anyways. Like what we're doing, so there's just a lot of things to go over and plan and try and make sure we got our ducks in a row when we get there and not look dumb. We gotta have it right.
Well, it seems like there's a lot more resources being put towards building the track this time. You hear a lot of people doubting the track itself. Seems like this time around they're going to actually have a lot of resources put towards that. Of course, we probably all know that's because the Cup boys are going to, the concrete queens are going to get a little dirt on their skirt. But, it seems like the track this go-round is going to be a lot different than the one we saw the years ago.
I would agree. Yeah, I mean, when we left, we sat down with all of them and talked to the guy that's actually building the racetrack, and I mean, he had thought about a lot of things that were maybe concerns of ours that he'd already thought of, and they're all willing to listen to some of the stuff we had suggestions for. And I mean, they've put a lot of effort and time into trying to make sure it's as good as they can make it. So that's all you can ask for. It is try and do everything you can to make it a successful event, and then it's up to those racers to go out and put on a show.
Now, you have a date with the World of Outlaws after the Cup race, correct? With the late models?
I believe so. We're April 10th.
Right.
Yep.
Barry Braun, who's running that Bristol Dirt Nationals, is kind of the track packer event, they're calling it. They are. But all I'm saying is you're not the track packer. You're after the track's already been worked in, ran a Cup race on it and all that. How... your personal opinion on that event, that Bristol Dirt Nationals, the 1,400 entries, the 7-8 classes. What is your opinion on that? Because there's a lot of doubt for that event right now. And and when you look at it, the doubt is rightfully so. I mean, it's an insane amount of entries, new track. We don't even know what's going to happen.
There's a lot of unknowns.
People's trying to sell race parts. You need to buy this, need to buy that. I mean...
Yes.
What do you think about that race in particular? Is that one of those that is like pressuristic? One of the highest pressured. If you're promoting it like Barry is, that's a high pressured event. That's like one of the biggest in a long
he's
time.
Taking on a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things to look at. Like I said, like when we were there, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you gotta look at and take account and try and have everything planned, and just on top of that, how many entries and stuff they've got. I mean, I don't
Hornets. And Hornets,
yes,
man, they're gonna.
Yes.
I'm thinking we need to get with Vegas and put a bet. Will the Hornet be faster, or will the Cup car be faster than the Hornet? That's a close bet. That's a close bet. Now, if we said IMCA stock cars versus NASCAR stock, that's not even close. They're going to destroy their times. But the Hornets, I mean, when you saw that on the list, you got it. You had to chuckle because the Gage Martinez's of the world, first of all.
I mean, it's definitely eye-opening. It makes you. I think naturally everyone's going to question it, but it's different. It's outside the box. Who knows?
They have a short track deal similar to what he's doing, and they have Hornets on that run on the asphalt track. So I don't think it'll be that big of an issue.
Yeah.
But still, all the classes, everything, that seems like it's going to be
It's a big.
It's either, you know, you could get knocked. It's like Mike Tyson. Either you could get knocked out or you can knock out the greatest in the world. That's kind of the situation of that.
He's got a chance to do one or the other. Yes.
So, oh God. How do you stay so happy around all this late model drama?
Hey, I'm happy, man. I'm getting to do some cool stuff, and I feel like I'm learning every day about these cars. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on underneath them, and that's cool to be doing something different and learning. That, you know, I did the open wheel stuff for a long time, and I kind of got burned out and didn't have a lot of fun for the last few years. So this part's kind of cool. I mean, and it's cool to try and build something and get it to the top. You know, I want this to be like the sprint car someday. I mean, you know, that's.
I think it's bigger, but.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I want, you know, I want everyone to think, you know, when they think about late models in the top division, I want them to think about the Outlaws, and I want that to be everyone's perception of it. So just keep digging.
And then you're going to drive Gateway in a late model? Is that the next step?
So I've had a couple offers to run, and none of them have worked out. You know, whether it was weather.
I was thinking about, are you going to get in one? I mean, obviously Gateway would be the perfect situation to do. It's like the chili bow of the late models.
I absolutely am going to get in a late model at some point. Yes. Like I said, it just hasn't worked out. Whether it's logistics or, you know, I had a couple days where I could have gone and tested, and the weather was fucked up. So I don't know. At some point, I'm going to get in one. And I'm a little nervous. I might like it too much, and then I might start running for Rookie of the Year or something.
Will it be a Rumley number 6? No, you won't be that lucky. No one is.
Yeah, I don't know.
You won't be that lucky.
We'll see.
Okay.
There's a few options.
A few.
There you go.